Josh Allen and the Bills are just a slam dunk going to the Super Bowl. Come to my house and let's bet on some things, please. The Chiefs.
Do you really want those people to come to your house?
No, but meet me at 1 Blakely Road in Stamford, Connecticut at NBC Sports, and we'll figure out something to bet on, okay?
Chris almost self-doxing himself last week. That was week 6.
Don't come to my house.
No.
Meet me at the office.
I am well armed. Shotguns, pistols, bazookas, hand grenades, you name it, plus an attack dog.
Wow. That's at your house? That's your house? That's what you're talking about?
Fully fortified.
Wow, way to go. Yep, yeah. So I don't have those things. I do have the dog, and I have me and a baseball bat and some horses and chickens and a rooster that I could throw at somebody that came to the house. But that's about it. I don't know if that's scary or not. Not as scary as what you got.
I don't know that my dog would ever really attack anyone, but the way she reacts when anyone gets within 50 feet of the house, I would know if anyone was approaching. I don't know whether she smells it, she hears it, but she loses her shit on a regular basis.
Right.
It happens all day long.
Right.
All day long. So she makes it known, get the hell out. You are not welcome.
We have so much action at our house on a daily basis because we are, on a farm and there's people pulling up. It's like I have a black sable German Shepherd. I know you know that. Just explaining to those.
Your dogs are awesome.
He's the man. And then I have Toto. So when somebody drives into the garage, Toto, my into the driveway, he starts barking. But the German Shepherd's like, okay, we're not going to bark at everything. And he doesn't bark. He's like, I'm not going to bark unless I feel like it's worthy of barking. So until somebody approaches the house and they see them and he sees them close to the window, that's when he goes crazy. And that's usually when we see an Amazon delivery person or whatever. It'll be like, oh my gosh. Or sometimes he's outside already, right? And then he comes around the corner when somebody's delivering something and people freak out, which is quite funny, but not funny. Because I understand that's not the best position to be in.
Your dog is so calm and so nice, but anytime I hear German Shepherd, it gives me flashbacks to when I delivered newspapers because I was chased by every dog imaginable. Back in those days, people didn't exactly contain their animals the way that they do now.
Right.
So dogs were running loose or chained up outside, and every size, shape, and breed I was chased by at some point. Which is one of the reasons why I didn't have a dog until 7 years ago. I didn't want anything to do with them.
Well,
because I associated dogs with something that would chase me, bark at me, and try to bite me.
Right. That's a very common story for you. And I mean, I feel like your age group. My dad, he delivered newspapers as well as a young kid. He'll say the same exact thing. Like never really wanted a dog because all of his experiences with dogs growing up were him running through the yard, getting away from the dog after he gave the newspaper. So, yeah, it is funny. Let me ask you this about your dog, Macy. Is like, okay, first off, like my Shepherd, if somebody grabs me or messes around and wrestles with me, right, like I'm the leader of the pack. He doesn't like that. Even though he likes my daughter and my wife more than he likes me, right, if I get into we were joking around, like, who's he going to protect, right? He always goes after them, right? It's so funny. And then he feels bad about it because he'll go up to them and be like, I love you more. But, it's almost like he's like, but you know how the pack works. He's the leader of the pack, so I got his back. It's very funny. But I just was wondering, like, does your dog choose you or Jill if it got like that in that situation?
My wife was the one person in the house who was the most leery about having a dog.
Right.
And what happened was my nieces have a tiny little dog that loves Jill. And anytime she'd go over, the dog would jump up on her lap. And that caused her to warm up to the concept. So once we got Macy, the dog locked onto Jill like that. And anytime, and a couple nights a week, I'll emerge from my lair and we'll watch something on TV. As soon as I walk out of my office, the dog starts barking at me.
Right.
And Jill's 30 feet away. But especially at night, you cannot approach the alpha. And even in the daytime, I can't touch her. I can't kiss her head. I can't get close to her. If the dog sees it, the dog goes nuts. So, and also I think, like, if my son and I are like wrestling around, I feel like the dog's coming after me. So I'm
You're low on the totem pole. Okay, I got you. I got you. All right.
I only rise up when there's food involved because I'm the easy mark for food.
Right. Got you.
It comes to me when there's food. I got to ask you this before we move on because I know I'm going to get this question. Are you making a fashion statement today or are you chilly?
No, I'm making a fashion statement. Yes. In fact, I'm not chilly. I'm actually borderline sweating over here. I literally was just going, why the did I wear this jacket in here? I'm starting to sweat, but it's totally a fashion statement, and it is cool in here right now, but not cold enough for a jacket. So I'm going to suck it up here through the remainder of the podcast.
Well, you know why it's not colder? Because I wasn't there to turn the thermostat down to 62 before we got started.
Thank you very much. 6. Yes.
All right. So I'm delaying as long as I can because once again, now we only disagreed on one game last week.
Way to go, baby.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Jay Dart.
Wait, who am I in this? Oh, am I Scataboo?
Man, you're Cam. You kind of look like Mark Brunell right there. If you ask me,
you're right.
Right? Don't you look like Mark Brunell, the quarterback coach of the Lions?
Lefty versus lefty in the 2005 playoffs.
Right. Exactly right. That's pretty funny.
You kind of got a little Trevor Lawrence with kind of a scrunched face. And it looks more like Phil than you.
I do. It does. It looks more like Phil than me for sure there. I would agree with that.
Chris won all 3 categories last week. Last week started great. You know the problem? We are on a horrible run in prime time. And it's because there's been so many freaking upsets. It makes for exciting games, but it would be nice to be right once in a while. There've been a bunch of upsets.
Well, I show up in prime time.
Really an upset.
You're kind of like a Kirk Cousins. You don't show up in a prime time.
You could have picked the Giants last week and you didn't.
I know.
You had your chance.
I did.
All right, so that's where we are heading into week number 7. Let's get to it. Only 2 teams are off this week. The Ravens and the Bills are off this week. Everybody else is playing. You can play along with us. DraftKings has set up the free $1,000 Florio and Sims pick 'em pool. Pick every game against the spread for a chance at a $1,000 prize pool every week.
Download the DraftKings app, click on the pools tab, enter Florio and Sims free $1,000 pick 'em pool to make your picks.
And remember, Thursday night and Sunday morning games not included. So you have until 1 o'clock Eastern every Sunday to lock in your action. Thursday night this week, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Only the 4th time ever 2 quarterbacks on the wrong side of 40 getting together. The 3 other times all happened in 2020. Tom Brady, Drew Brees. The Steelers favored by 5.5 at Cincinnati. Cincinnati have been double-digit underdogs pretty much every week lately. It's only 5.5 with an over-under of 44.5. We have both picked the Steelers to win every week this season. Now, the upset trend in primetime is real. And I was on 93.7 The Fan yesterday in Pittsburgh, and they said Mike Tomlin has never won a short week road game.
Wow.
Ever.
Wow.
So that's a factor as well. Who do you have?
Well, I do have the Steelers, right? But because of the, your prime time, and not even prime time, but more of the Thursday night. Thursday night, to me, is just odd. We've talked about it a lot. Yeah, it's not a normal week. All right, so I certainly pick Pittsburgh to win the football game. Yes, I'm going to do that. But, we know about Pittsburgh's offense. First off, I don't think it's that explosive that it's really going to blow anybody out right now at this point. It's going in the right direction. I like that, right? But what I do get scared of is Joe Flacco, and he has no conscience. That's what I get scared of. And that we're still at a Pittsburgh defense that I don't know is functioning at a high level yet. It's also like the offense getting better. But do I think there'll be some holes there for Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Joe Flacco to throw a few little, some lasers down the field to make a few big plays? Yeah, that's what kind of scares me. Or late in the game, one team takes their foot off the gas pedal like we saw the Bengals with the Packers last week, and then they get some late touchdowns, right? My big thing here is that scares me, Flacco to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins big plays. The other thing that just scares me, Pittsburgh's offense needs to come out and be aggressive and kind of squash the mentality of the Bengals right away and kind of be like, no, we're here to play. Yep, it's Thursday night. We're going to be a little aggressive too here and take the will out of them. But I don't know if they're capable of that. I'm going 27-24 Steelers here, so I'm going to have the Bengals cover.
Same here, 24-20 Steelers, and I could see 24-13 with a late touchdown by the Bengals. We've seen a lot of that garbage time action from the Bengals in recent weeks. I think it got them the cover against the Packers, but not against the Lions. It was close, though. And the Lions game, the final scores look better than maybe the flow of the game would suggest.
Right.
And, the Steelers are rounding into form. They're becoming contenders. The short week is a factor. I don't know that Aaron Rodgers is going to be distracted by the fact that the next game is against the Packers. I don't think he cares about that. This is just about short week, get it together, go get a win. One fact about the Steelers defense that surprised me, and this comes from the NBC Sports research notes that go out every Wednesday, and there's always a lot of good stuff in there that become posts at PFT. The Steelers have 3 straight games with 5 or more sacks. They have never gone 4 games in a row with 5 or more sacks since team sacks became a stat in 1963. So all those teams of the 70s never did what the Steelers can do tonight.
That's
4
amazing.
straight games with 5 or more sacks. They had 3 sacks total the first 2 weeks. They've got 17 the last 3 games, all wins. I think it's enough for the Steelers to get to 5-1 and really continue this conversation that we started yesterday of what moves they should maybe make as the trade deadline approaches to get not just, it was all in, let's get to the playoffs and win a playoff game. Now it's let's go all in because maybe we can go deep into the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. I'll be interested too because like we were talking about yesterday, it's there to be had in the AFC right now. There's no one team you can look at and just go, oh, this team and that team are another level above everybody else. And therefore, that's why I think we're maybe headed towards one of the more exciting trade deadlines we've ever seen because there's so many teams that could probably have that feeling this year.
Sunday morning in London, the folks who will be at Wembley get a game with 2 teams on the right side of 500. And that may be a first or close to it. I know for a long time, the London games ended up being between 1 or 2 losing teams. And the Jaguars are usually one of them, but both of these teams are having good years. The Rams are favored by 3. Puka Nacua, I don't know that he's going to go or not. I didn't practice on Wednesday. I'm amazed he came back to the game and played on Sunday when he had that ankle injury in the first half in Baltimore. But with or without him, hey, the Rams have something going on. The Jaguars have something going on. Again, the Rams favored by 3 with an over-under of 44.5. 84%, of the spread money is on Jacksonville. Are you?
I am not on Jacksonville here. I like Jacksonville. I do, that. But I don't know. The Puka Nacua thing is a pretty big deal. Okay, I will say that. And it does, influence how many points are going to be there available on the board. But one thing I'll say, Matthew Stafford has been a little off. I think the offense has been a little off with the Rams altogether. I think this is the week they kind of get it straight. The Jaguars will give you opportunities to make big plays. The Jaguars are kind of feast or famine. The Jaguars are either going to go for the jugular and try to get a turnover, or you got a chance to hit their jugular and make a big play yourself. So I think that's what I worry about a little bit in this one. I look at this one here to think, this is a get back on track game for the Rams offense. The other aspect is the Rams defense is still really good. It's really good. And they're their struggles on the defensive side of the ball really, to me, in 2 games were the Colts game and the 49ers, where they just were picked apart all over the field. I don't think the Jaguars offense or Trevor Lawrence can do that to the Rams quite yet. I don't think they're at that level of execution. Because of that, I'm going to go Rams 34-24. Maybe it's a little closer if Puka doesn't play, but I'm picking the score as if he's playing in this one right now.
Yeah, I got 28-24 Rams. Look, we know the story on Trevor Lawrence, and even though the Monday night game against the Chiefs adjusted the narrative a little bit, we saw it against the Seahawks on Sunday. We saw opportunities to be had for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's not just Trevor Lawrence. I don't want to pick on him. Brian Thomas dropping a ball, it seems like once a week.
Yeah.
They can't really get into a good groove with how to use Travis Hunter. That's becoming more and more, I think, of a glaring factor as we get deeper into the season. He's split between offense and defense. If they would just go all in one way or the other, they might be better off. Make him a full-time receiver and then maybe sprinkle him in on defense. Let him flourish. Let him develop as a pass catcher. But I just think the Rams right now, they know the stakes. They lost a game 2 weeks ago that they should have won against the 49ers. They've handled this travel the best way possible, stay in Baltimore, a little camaraderie, a little bonding, and also this factor, if Puka doesn't play. I remember after Calvin Johnson retired, it was almost like Matthew Stafford got better because you lose your security blanket, you got to open up the rest of the offense.
Yeah.
And they've got the guys. They've got Devontae Adams and Tutu Atwell and Jordan Whittington and seventh-round rookie Konate Mumfield, who I think could do some things if he has favorable matchups. And they have tight ends that can get done. They got Kyron Williams for crying out loud.
That's right.
They're a very balanced team, and I think they're better right now than the Jaguars, and I think they'll be able to pull it off.
I agree. I agree with you there. Yeah, I will. And you know, I hear what you're saying about the Calvin Johnson thing. I do think, though, this is not quite as extreme as that, right? That was like, oh my gosh, it's him or nothing else in such a way. They now with the Rams are like, hey, we feature Puka, but if you go too far taking him away, we got all these other guys, to your point, that we attack with, where, you know, it felt like back in the days with Calvin Johnson, they still forced the ball to him, even though a team might try to take him away, right?
Here's what I'm curious about. We got to move on to the next game. But, you know, we saw Puka basically step into what had been the Cooper Kupp role in the offense. If Puka's not there, is it, I mean, the obvious is Devontae Adams, but could it be somebody else who is the guy who is given, it almost seems like there's one guy for whom these plays are schemed and that guy's in that spot. Could it be Jordan Whittington? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it's just Devontae Adams, and they are the king of they are a team, lots of window dressing. I'm looking over here, but I'm really, the whole play is for this one guy over here. They're very good at that, and I think it will be Devontae Adams if Puka's not available, Mike.
All right, the Saints take on the Bears. Soldier Field, the Bears, short week, got the big win late. 25-24, identical scores for two straight games. Games they easily could have lost. They won them. The Saints are 1-5. You made the comment yesterday on PFT Live on, you know, they're much better than 1-5 would suggest. So this is a big test. Go to Chicago. Bears are 4.5-point favorites. Over under a 46.5. Who do you have?
Yeah, I'm going with the Bears here. I mean, I like the direction the Bears organization and team is going in. Caleb Williams is getting better and better. He still needs to learn to trust the offense more. Their offense and those guys on that side of the ball, I still think are going through a crash course of, oh my gosh, we've never been a part of an offense like this. And that's why you see so many self-inflicted wounds by them, you know, lining up offsides, penalties of that. Because, yeah, it's like, wait, one play we got in the huddle's got a few rules. And if we check it to the other play, it's got a whole bunch of rules, too, that I got to remember. So I think they're still getting used to that, right? But I do think the Bears' offense is going to be able to move the ball on the Saints. The Bears can run the ball. They can throw the ball. They're explosive that way. And I don't know if the Rams have the defensive front to contain a Caleb Williams when he gets out and scrambles and run around. They're a little slow up front in New Orleans, so that would worry me too. Now, the Saints might be able to make some big plays too. You know, like you said, yeah, the Saints are, you know, like we talked about yesterday. They're about one of the better 1-5 teams I can remember here. They're dangerous. They can run the ball. They can run the ball, and they got some weapons on the outside. And I'm not necessarily sitting here telling you I'm sold on this Bears defense as of yet. We saw Washington kind of move the ball up and down the field once they got in a groove after the early stages of the game there. So I look at that. But I do think Dennis Allen is going to be motivated. Playing his old team, D-coordinator of the Bears, playing the Saints. He's going to want to shove it up where the sun don't shine. I go Bears 31-21 here.
I got 24-13 Bears. And, you know, in a weird sort of way, I don't know how much you focused on this yesterday, but there was the weird little reaction to the perceived criticism of the Bears by Troy Aikman during Monday Night Football. Ben Johnson said something about it Tuesday. Caleb Williams reacted to it. Caleb said yesterday it motivates him. This doesn't feel contrived. It feels like a manifestation of the notion that the Bears aren't being respected, and anything that you can take that is real, because we know they take any fake thing they can find as motivation. This just kind of feels like it struck a nerve and it's galvanized the Bears a little bit. And I think they'll want to prove to everyone that they belong, and they moved to 4-2, and you know, it's moving in the right direction for Ben Johnson.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, but I agree with you there. And listen, they might have been lucky to win the game a little bit the other night. But the play Troy Aikman was talking about, I go, that's not luck. That was a really well-designed play, the DeAndre Swift out route. And, I think what they're saying, too, is like we've lost some games where we got unlucky and we didn't hear anybody say it the other way around. I can understand them, being bothered by that, certainly.
All right, the Saints are a good 1-5 team. There are two other 1-5 teams getting together in Ohio on Sunday, the Miami Dolphins, and the issues there have been extremely well documented. The Cleveland Browns, they got that big win over the Packers, but they've otherwise been struggling. It's the third start for Dylan Gabriel. The Browns are favored by 2.5 points, over under of 40.5. 87% of the spread money is on the Cleveland Browns. Chris, who do you have?
Yeah, I'm going Browns here. These are the games that I don't necessarily trust, like the Miami Dolphins on the road, right outside in the elements, a little wind off the lake of Lake Erie in Cleveland. The fans are loud. A longer grass field slows Miami down a little bit, right? All of that, I just go, yeah, I don't think Miami is real good in those type of environments. I think off of that, too, I go, this is the game where I think we're going to see Dylan Gabriel do some positive things and the offense have some positive moments because we know the Dolphins' defense sucks. I mean, there's no other way around it. Now, I don't know if the Browns could take advantage of it to the extent some other offenses can, but I think it's going to be more success than we normally see from the Browns offense, which we know isn't super talented. So that I look at that. I worry that the Dolphins is just going to get smothered by the Browns defense. I like this Browns defense. They're going to get up in the face of the receivers. They're going to crowd the line of scrimmage. I think this is a game Tua's going to get very nervous about the physicality in the pocket and people all around him. As long as Schwartz isn't too crazy aggressive to let the Dolphins run pick plays and little trick plays like that, the Dolphins win this game 23-17.
I've got 23-20. We both have a cover. We almost had, or no, I have 20-17. Regardless, it was almost a bingo.
I meant the Browns win 23-17. Did I say the Dolphins?
Browns 20-17.
Sorry.
Browns 20-17. Are you sure you don't want to change it to the
No,
Dolphins?
I definitely don't. You heard my layup there. That was all Browns positive talk. I expect them to win 23-17. Sorry.
Time for the weather on the ones. It's going to be rainy and windy in Cleveland. Rain throughout the day. Projected rain totals of 1.5 inches and wind throughout the afternoon between 15 to 25 miles an hour with gusts up to, it looks like maybe 25. Gets worse later in the night. They're lucky it's not a night game. The gusts at night upwards of 40 miles an hour, but it's an early game for a reason. Both teams are 1-5, but we think the Browns get to 2-5. All right, next up, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Las Vegas Raiders. The Chiefs will have, for the first time ever in a regular season game, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, and Xavier Worthy on the field and available to them. They got reestablished last week against the Lions. The Raiders got a win against a team, and I saw a quote. It was attributed to a member of the Raiders, to Michael Silver of The Athletic, that basically the Titans are one of the worst teams I've ever seen, and they only beat them by 10.
Yeah.
So the Raiders are still in trouble. And the Chiefs, they're starting to get that swagger. They're favored by 11.5, over under a 45.5. Biggest spread of the week. Who do you have?
Yeah, I mean, duh. I got the Chiefs. Of course I do. You said it right. I mean, the Chiefs got some mojo going. The Chiefs has an identity. The Chiefs and their quick passing game has changed their football team, and now it's making the defenses that play them go, oh, no, we can't sit here and be surgically picked apart all the time. We got to start being a little more aggressive in how we approach them, and that's going to lead to big plays, and that's what we're seeing. And you're going to see it even more with Rashee Rice. I mean, they probably had a celebration there on the offensive side of the ball this week with him coming back. I know they were pumped. So I look at that. They're home. And I feel like Spags is going to be all over this Chip Kelly offense. Between that, right, that's where I just look at the Chiefs in this one. The Chiefs' D's been a little more conservative this year and years past, and this is going to suit them well with a Raiders team that likes to try to push the ball down the field. I don't have, faith in the Raiders as far as they just don't have enough big-time playmakers right now. 30-17 Chiefs.
34-17. Damn it. Close enough, but we both have the same idea. It just feels like the Chiefs, like that one game against the Lions, it reminded everyone and themselves that they're still an elite team. And then the Bills lose 2 in a row. The Bengals, Ravens, scratch them off. Where are the teams that they really have to worry about? The Colts, they'll deal with them when they have to. I think that's their attitude. The Chiefs have proven that they know how to win, and this is not one. In the past, they've stepped in a pothole against the Raiders. Remember, that was when they bottomed out in 2023 on Christmas Day. They still remember that. They're not going to let that happen. 34-17, Chiefs win. Okay, we go to Minnesota. The Vikings coming off the bye. The Eagles coming off the mini bye. I think it's going to be Carson Wentz starting for the Vikings. They haven't said that
Sounds
yet.
like
But when you string together all the evidence, I mean, Kevin O'Connell said it himself early on in J.J. McCarthy's recovery from the high ankle sprain. He's not going to play until he's healthy and able to fully prepare. He's limited in practice on Wednesday. Boom, there's your answer. It's going to be Carson Wentz, I believe. Going against his former team for only the second time. He lost to the Eagles in 2022 while he was the quarterback for the Commanders. Now he gets a chance to play them again with a better team across the board. But the Eagles are favored by 1.5. They're likely to get Jalen Carter back. He said he'll be back after surprisingly missing the Week 6 game with a heel injury that popped up the day before. Who do you have in this one?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, I went back and forth with this one. The quarterback situation, I'm with you. I expect Carson Wentz all the way. I mean, J.J. McCarthy said yesterday his ankle doesn't feel 100% yet. I don't think he's the kind of guy that you just throw out there. And we saw already, I mean, he's raw and young, so you don't just throw him out there with a lot of practice time first. So it's going to be Carson Wentz. 100% with you there, Mike. You know, the other thing is, this is the Brian Flores defense, right? Does a lot of stuff, a lot of crazy stuff. That gives a lot of offenses problems. I don't know if it's going to give the Eagles offense a lot of problems. Why, Mike? Because of what we always talk about. The Eagles are simple. So it's not like they're going to be like, trying to figure out what blitz is coming. It's like, we called this play, we're running it here. We called this play, we're throwing it there. It doesn't really matter what they're doing. That's the kind of the way they play. So and this is in a week where I actually look at it and go, I think their simplicity is going to help them a little bit, right? And then the Jalen Carter factor is real. And when Jalen Carter's there, their front four can control a football game. I don't know if the public really quite understands how awesome Jalen Carter is yet. Right? Like, I don't know, like, if the public realizes, like you and I always say, if we were going to start a defense in the NFL, Micah Parsons would be 1, but Jalen Carter would be 2. I don't feel like the rest of the public has jumped on to that idea to know how awesome he is there. But at the end of the day here, sorry, I lost myself where I am. I'm going to take the Eagles, and I just don't know what to think of the Vikings offense. I'm going Eagles 20-16.
I got 23-20 Eagles, and for a lot of the same reasons that you've articulated. The Eagles have lost 2 in a row, and they had extra time. I wonder how objective they're capable of being when it comes to their issues, and I still think they have deeper issues that need to be resolved. This feels like an opportunity to get right. It would be better if they were playing at home. I don't know, maybe after how they looked last week, it's better that they're playing on the road again. But they just need to get their footing reestablished. It's a great opportunity for the Vikings to kind of declare themselves as a contender in the NFC, and I think it will be close, and it could go either way.
Yeah.
This won't be the best bet. I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings win, but one way or the other, I just feel like this is an Eagles game to win, and if they lose this one, they really do have problems.
Yeah, I'm with you.
2 teams that, well, one has fewer problems than the other. One is winless. The other one has scratched and clawed its way to 3-3. The Panthers only favored by 1.5 at the Jets. And, you know, I don't know what's going to happen with Justin Fields. He admitted he's been too conservative. He doesn't get rid of the ball quickly enough. It seems as if he's getting closer and closer to being benched. Let's see what that translates to for the Jets offense. Garrett Wilson's banged up. We don't know if he's going to play. And the Panthers have looked good. And what do you think in this one? Panthers-Jets. Again, Panthers favored by 1.5, over under of 42.5.
I mean, it is at home for New York. They're going to be, desperate. There is that desperation when you're and whatever. It doesn't matter. This time of the year, you're still like, oh my gosh, and fear's waking you up, and can we win a game? So everybody's feeling that urgency in the building. But yeah, I just don't think they're good enough. I would have benched Justin Fields. They have no passing game in the competitive part of a football game. It's embarrassing to be in the NFL this day and age and have that type of offense. So yeah, the other aspect, I look at this here and go, the Panthers, should be able to gash the Jets' D. The Jets can't stop the run. That's not a good thing against the Panthers. The Panthers will steamroll you up front. We've seen that week after week. So they're going to do that. And then if you're going to play man-to-man on the outside, we're seeing with Bryce Young and Xavier Legette, and especially T-Mac, Tetairoa McMillan, they can make a few plays every game to get them over the hump there. So because of that, I give the Panthers the advantage, and I just have no faith in a Jets offense, and especially in their pass game, which is what they're going to have to do because the Panthers can stop the run. The Panthers got some big ballers up front. You can't just run the ball on the Panthers. 23-20 Panthers.
Oh, again, close, but no bingo. No bango, no bongo. 23-17 Panthers. Yeah, I know one of these weeks the Jets are going to win, but I look at what the Jets have done, and I almost think that when you come so close to winning and you don't,
right.
I feel like that lingers.
I hear you.
The talk about quarterback lingers, and flying back from London lingers. And the reality is the Panthers are changing the way that we view them before our eyes 1 week at a time. After several years of just not very good, we need to accept the fact, we all need to accept the fact that they're better than they've been, and they're potential contenders. All right. Speaking of potential contenders, the New England Patriots now in first place in the AFC East, going to Nashville, where Mike Vrabel doesn't even get a chance to face the coach they replaced him with because Brian Callahan got fired. And this is the stat of the year. Mike Vrabel's 4-2 this season, and the Titans are 4-19 since they fired Mike Vrabel.
I love it.
I'm surprised the spread's only 7, 42.5 over under. 88% of the spread money is on the Patriots, and you have wisely yet to pick the Titans straight up or against the spread this season. Will you be doing either today?
No, they sucky ducky. And you're right. I mean, you add that to a coaching change, and that Mike Vrabel's going to want to go down there and show his ass and be like, yeah, I'm back, baby, with a new team, and you fired me, you freaking idiots, and we're going to kick your ass today. So, yeah, I feel like that motivation, and the team's going to feel that motivation. Those are the type of things where the assistant coaches go into the meeting rooms and they, hey, you guys know how important this is to our coach. I mean, this team, and they'll tell a few stories about what they've heard the coach talk about with the old organization, and the players will get the gist. So, yeah, Pats just feel like they're like this right now. Defense getting better. Drake May, cusp of being a superstar here, right on the cusp of that. I think their D will dominate, and, of course, Drake May and the run game will continue to stay on fire. Patriots, 31-14.
37-17, agree with everything you're saying, and it is strange to see this ascension as quickly. And when you look at the rest of their schedule, it's very favorable. Very favorable. They can keep stacking wins. They could win that division. The Bills have a problem. The Bills have an issue because the Patriots are better than anyone expected them to be. And we know that Mike Vrabel can coach. And, yeah, he's going to look to stick it. And, you know, the best evidence of it is he downplayed it. He downplayed it when he talked.
Right.
Deep down, he wants to go down there and stick it hard to the Tennessee Titans. All right. That's it for the early games and Thursday and Sunday morning games in Week 7. We'll do the late afternoon games, including the Commanders trying to get right when they go to Dallas. That's next on Chris Sims Unbuttoned and PFTPM.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the MFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code PUNTER when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
And as always, please bet responsibly, only with money that you can afford to lose, because if you listen to me, especially in recent weeks, you shall. All right, late afternoon, we start with the G-Man rematch of Super Bowl 21.
Yeah.
The game that Phil Simms had the highest completion percentage in Super Bowl history, Super Bowl MVP. I'm going to Disneyland. I'm going to Disney World. I'm taking my little pain-in-the-ass kid with me. The Broncos favored by 7. This is a weird one because the Broncos dicked around with the Jets and could have / should have lost. The Giants riding a little wave here after that Thursday night game when they took down the defending Super Bowl champions and their arch rivals. Who you got?
Yeah, I mean, the Giants have won 2 out of 3. The energy that Scatterboo and, of course, Jay Dart have brought to the organization, it's real. The D has gotten better. I mean, yeah, 1, 2 out of the last 3, and the one they lost, you went, there was a lot of positive signs there. Right? I mean, to use your phrase, the Denver they better not dick around and find out here on this one, all right? Because you don't want to let them hang around. Now, I'll say, we know Denver's defense is awesome. That's undeniable. Awesome. It is. It's the offense that's lackluster. It's like the run game's good, but it's not scary. The pass game's good, but it's not really scary. And we're kind of seeing it every week where we're kind of going, wait, I want a little more. I want a little more. But the bottom line is here, this is the first, to me, like major road game that Jackson Dart and some of these young guys have ever been involved in. I know they went down to New Orleans, but, come on, New Orleans was winless at the time. It's not like you were going into the beehive there of like Sean Payton, Drew Brees, where they thought they were some special franchise. So this is going to be different. This is going to be loud. It's going to be, right, grass field, different environment, all there. So I look at that and I go, man, this D is going to fluster the Giants' offense, right? And what did I wrote? And I expect the Broncos have offense really to have the short field a few times. That's where I'm kind of banking on this one. Defense of the Broncos causes a few turnovers, shoves the Giants back in their own end a few times, and because of that, I think it's like a slow death. Broncos 24-13.
Okay, well, you got the cover. See, and this is all pasta and meatballs. I feel like the Giants are going to keep it close, but this is the Broncos' first home game since we saw them splatter the Bengals 28-3. They've gotten the win in Philly. They got the win in London. This is their welcome home. There could be a lot of energy in the building. You're right. It's going to be very different than going to the Superdome and facing a winless Saints team. I feel like the Broncos, and I'm being hesitant because the game in London was so lackluster.
Right.
And so I'm going to give the Giants a chance to ride a little bit of that wave from last Thursday to keep it close, 27-24. But this will definitely not be a best bet because I could see it being a Giants upset. I could see it being a blowout. I could see it being anything. We don't know anything after the first 6 weeks of the season, especially as it relates to the Broncos and the Giants. All right. Colts and the Chargers, another test for Indianapolis. How real are they? They go back to the only stadium in which they lost a game this year, when they lost to the Rams by a touchdown, and they maybe would have won that game if A.D. Mitchell doesn't start his celebration a little bit too early, lose control of the ball, and have it end up being North Korea'd on him. So the Chargers are favored despite all the injuries, despite all the issues, and we saw they should have lost to the Dolphins. They blew a double-digit lead, and they had to pull a rabbit out of their butts to beat the woeful Dolphins. They're favored by 1.5 at home with an over-under of 48.5. Who do you have?
Yeah, like you kind of said it, right? Like another test for the Chargers and what they are, or the Colts and what they are, excuse me. And I almost look at it like I know what the Colts are now. I'm okay with it. The Colts are real. I'm not asking myself that question. The question is, I think, what you said at the end there. What are the Chargers? What are the Chargers? They could have lost their third in a row. I mean, yeah, they lost to the Giants. They got manhandled by the Commanders, and they were on the ropes last week against the Miami Dolphins, definitely. I feel like with me, right, I've overrated the Chargers D. I love the scheme and everything they do on that side of the ball, but they just don't have enough freaks. They got not enough game changers, right? No household names other than Derwin James and Khalil Mack, who's just maybe getting back into the lineup this week, and he's not a superstar anymore. I think that's a problem. And on top of that, I think the Chargers defense is not facing an offense like this. This is an offense that can do whatever it wants, whenever it wants. They are creative. They're physical. They got playmakers. They got it all. And I like Justin Herbert and some of the stuff they're doing in the pass game, but I just don't know if the Chargers is good enough to dominate the Colts D. That's where I look at it. The Colts D is not real good. It's bend, don't break. And I kind of think this is what will happen in this one too. They'll bend a little, but they won't break. I think this is going to be a fun game, a lot of good plays and big plays, but I'm going Colts 30-24.
I got 24-17 Colts. You may be right. The scoring may be a little bit higher. The over-under on that one, I don't have it in front of me anymore, and I don't know if I said it earlier. The over-under is 8.5, so fairly high, and we could see it easily get to that. But I like the Colts to win this one more than anything else because we know what they are.
Right.
And the Rams team that only beat them by a touchdown and could have lost to them is better than the Chargers team. And we saw what happened to the Chargers at home. And to the extent that there is a rejuvenated Colts fan base, we know they'll be at that game.
Yeah, right.
We know that any Colts fans in Los Angeles will be showing up for this one for a chance to cheer on the rejuvenated Colts. So I like them 24-17, which hey, if they win convincingly and the Lions beat the Bucs, there's a chance the Colts are going to be the number one team in the all-important PFT power rankings next week. All right, the Green Bay Packers go to Arizona to take on the Cardinals, who have lost 4 in a row. They had their chances against the Colts. They could have beaten the Colts, but at the end of the day, it was a loss. 4 straight for Arizona. Green Bay trying to get themselves moving in the right direction. They're favored by 6.5 with an over/under of 45.5. Who do you have?
Yeah, I mean the Packers should have won the Cardinals should have won the week before against the Cardinals. I mean the Titans. Damn, I'm all over the place here. They've lost some squeakers, right? I mean it's incredible some of the games they've lost here. I think that'll continue though. It will. The Packers are more talented. We know that. The problem is the Packers just aren't playing great football. Like we saw last week, there's a lot of stats and a lot of things on the offensive side of the ball, but also a lot of not finishing drives, what I call empty yards at times. Now, maybe this is the week it changes and they explode and they go crazy. Maybe it is. Defense, same thing. There's moments of domination, but there's also moments of like, man, I mean, come on, can we get off the field? Can we make a play here? What's the deal? I think that the Cardinals hang around and make this interesting, but at the end of the day, yeah, the Packers are just too good. I'm going to go 27-21 Packers.
Question for you.
Yeah.
So you do have the Packers covering. Kyler Murray was limited in practice on Wednesday. He's got a mid-foot sprain. They haven't said Liz Frank yet, but he's got a foot sprain, didn't play last week. Jacoby Brissett played really well.
I wouldn't rush Kyler Murray back.
Kyler Murray, don't you keep going with Jacoby Brissett?
I would, 100%.
Is that a no-brainer?
It's a no-brainer to me. It's not. It's a no-brainer. There's a reason the offense looked the way it did last week. Jacoby Brissett is willing to stand in the pocket and make throws that Kyler Murray just won't make. That's the big problem. That's what's holding Kyler Murray back, let alone when Kyler Murray's playing right now. He's not making nearly as many magical plays as we used to see him make as far as backyard magic and all that. So if you're not going to do that, you're Kyler Murray, and then you're also not really striking when you're in the pocket and making plays happen there, yeah, people are going to start to question. That's the way it is. I would go with Jacoby Brissett right now, 100%, Mike.
Yeah, and I just wonder how long they're going to ride this out. Because he's playing well, but they're not winning. They need to get a win to justify it. At some point, the investment you made in Kyler Murray is going to push you to put him back on the field when he's ready to go. But I think it will be Brissett. I still think the Packers win 31-20. I think the Packers just need one. They need one to really establish themselves. They kind of did it against the Bengals, but there was too much garbage time production from the Bengals offense. The Packers need to clamp down on someone and prove to everyone that they're one of the better teams in the NFC. All right, the last game in the late afternoon window, the Dallas Cowboys hosting the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are favored by 2.5, over-under of 54.5. That is the highest over-under so far of the 2025 season. It's no surprise because the Cowboys' offense is unstoppable and its defense can't stop anyone. Who do you like in this one?
Well, I expect a big shootout, like, 54 is low for me. That's low. These defenses stink. I mean, that's the end of the day. Like, Washington's defense isn't as bad as Dallas's, but it's not like a whole lot better. And of course, we know Dallas's offense is pretty awesome. I mean, they can do everything there. So within that, and then of course we know what Dallas's defense is about, and they're about nothing. Washington's going to be able to do whatever they want. Washington's one of the better run teams in all of football. So they continue to oppress like that. Jaden Daniels is surgical. They're going to get Dallas crowded to the line of scrimmage and make a few big plays down the field. And, the same as the other side of the ball. Dallas is going to be able to do just about whatever they want on this Commanders defense, too. Commanders can't stop anything. They're not very talented. So I'm going Commanders here, 38-34. I think this is going to be a shootout and one of the fun games of the day right here.
Wow. Well, we haven't disagreed on any yet this week, and this is complete and total pasta and meatballs. And in my vision of how it plays out, the Commanders either fail to convert on fourth down, or there's a fumble or an interception as they're driving for what would be 38-34. I've got Cowboys winning this one 34-31. They're a different team at home. We saw what they did against the Green Bay Packers. They're starting to get a little desperate, I think, to get a win. This is an arch rival. Dan Quinn comes back to town. The offense is playing at a high level. I don't know that they're going to get CeeDee Lamb back. He returned to practice on Wednesday, and it doesn't matter when you got George Pickens. So, the defense has got to make one play. One play. You have them not making it. I have faith that they will make one play or get some lucky break. Now, it won't be raining, so the ball won't slip out of Jaden Daniels' hands. But I feel like this is a day when the Cowboys win. So we disagree on one. We got 3 games left to pick. We'll see how many more we disagree on. We'll do the primetime games, including the number 1 team in the PFT Power Rankings as an underdog on the road on Monday night. That's next on Chris Sims Unbuttoned and PFT PM.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code CORNERBACK when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Sounds like a different voice of God. I guess we have 2 gods in this business.
There's many gods. Is your God better than my God, or is my God better than your God? Let's start a war over it.
Hey, we'll all find out when we die.
Yeah, right.
All right. We'll find out who was right and who was wrong. The stakes are fairly high. Bliss or burn in eternal fire. All right, let's get to it, Dr. Doom. The Atlanta Falcons, it's funny. When I saw that the Sunday night game last Sunday, as we're enjoying Lions-Chiefs, I saw it's Falcons-49ers. I was like, oh, man, we're really going to have to work to sell that one. And then comes Monday night, and the Falcons look great, and Bijan Robinson is electric, and the 49ers are still competent, and they're exciting. This is going to be, and this isn't bullshit, this is going to be a great game, because this is going to be a good test of whether or not the Falcons can build.
Yeah,
Are they going to be roller coaster, or are they going to build?
Right.
If they're good in prime time, it's another opportunity for the Falcons and Michael Penix. Michael Penix said, we've arrived. This is their chance to prove it. The 49ers are still favored by 2.5 points at home, so that's the message. Falcons, you still got to prove it. Over under 47.5. Who you got?
Yeah, I mean, I'm mad I didn't pick the Falcons last week, right? I said it on the pod.
Oh, you were right there.
I kept saying it. I kept saying this is an upset. I just didn't have the guts to actually come through with it. I picked the Bears one, but I'm going to take it more of like the second thing you said here as far as the Falcons. I think it's a jump off spot. I think they've got a little mojo going here. Now, ever since that Carolina loss a few weeks back, I think that Michael Penix has been a groove. They figured out what they want to do on offense a little bit more. Play action pass went way up on Monday night. Why wouldn't it if you got Bijan Robinson running the freaking football? Do most people in the football or the public, do they realize that the Falcons got the number 1 defense in the NFL and the number 2 offense in the NFL? The Falcons are real. The Falcons have the fastest defense in the sport. They do. They're pretty healthy. The 49ers are not. Right? So I look at that, and then it sounds like we're going to get Mac Jones, and I just believe the Falcons, is going to be able to move the ball on this 49ers D, run game or pass game. We saw the Bucs move it in the pass game. I think this Falcons offense poses some more problems than even that Bucs offense, right? I just want the Falcons more play action pass, but I'm going Falcons 24-20 on the road, Mike.
Oh, so close to the bingo, the bango, the bongo, 24-21. I got the Falcons winning this one. And look, I believe that Fred Warner was the injury that pushes the 49ers over the edge. Early on, it's like, hey, this feels like 2020 and 2024 all over again, where the injuries just mar the season, but they were winning. But there's only so many of those injuries you can withstand. And for their heart and soul of the defense, especially with Nick Bosa out, Fred Warner had missed only 1 game in 8 seasons before suffering that dislocated and fractured ankle. That's going to be the killer for the 49ers, and that's going to be the key that unlocks the Falcons offense, especially once Bijan Robinson gets past the first level. I was watching that game Monday night. Like, he gets bottled up from time to time, but he'll take like 2 steps and gain 9 yards.
Yeah.
Like, he's just shot out of a cannon.
His acceleration
the sticks.
is crazy. His 0 to 60 is like, it takes 2 steps and he gets to full speed. He's not known for 80-yard touchdowns like we saw. That was a rare thing the other night. He doesn't do that. But when you talk about that first 20 of a sprint, man, I'd put Bijan Robinson up there with anybody. Like you said, he can explode to the hole and through it.
All right, we agree on that when we move to Monday night, the non-overlapping doubleheader, which means take a nap on Monday afternoon because we're going to be up late watching these games. The first one, the better one, the Lions hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Lions won't have Brian Branch. His one-game suspension for the post-game smack in the face of Juju Smith-Schuster was upheld on Wednesday night, so he's out. The Bucs have injury issues. They're still 5-1. They are 5.5-point underdogs, 52.5 over/under. Who do you have?
Yeah, I'm going Lions here. I don't think this is the week that the Bucs can win by the skin of their teeth with a late game drive by Baker Mayfield. I think the Lions will, of course, be on alert after last week. Bad taste in their mouth. It'll wake them up a little bit. And let's not forget, too, they were up 10-6. 10-6, Amon-Ra St. Brown drops a ball on 4th and 2, and you go, who knows what's going to happen right there if they capitalize on that. It would have been a different football game. So that was a huge moment. The Chiefs went down and scored after that. They got the ball in the second half. They scored again, and the game totally flipped. But I just feel like the Lions offense going to pose too many problems for a banged-up Buccaneers team and defense. And I think that when the Buccaneers have to worry about a legit run game, they're too easy to be had in the pass game, and that's really what scares me. I know the Bucs will make some plays on the offensive side of the ball, but at the end of the day, at home in Detroit, after a loss, biting kneecaps and all that, yeah, I think the Lions win this one 31-28.
Almost another one. We both have the Bucs covering. I got 30-27 because I do think the Bucs will keep it close. The Bucs have given them fits in Detroit. They beat them in 2023 in Detroit early, and there was a game that they had a chance. And remember, they mishandled the clock at the end.
Yeah.
The Lions were taking knees, but they weren't taking enough time off the clock, and the Bucs didn't use their timeouts, and it was just kind of this weird, what the hell is going on here? But the Bucs have played them well there. I think they'll keep it close, 30-27. The Lions get the win. All right, the last game of the week. The Houston Texans, coming off of their bye, go to Seattle, where the Seahawks can't win. They can't lose on the road. They need to start wearing their white jerseys at home, for crying out loud. Simulate being on the road. They're favored by 3, 41.5 over/under. 91% of the spread money is on Seattle. Are you?
Yeah, I am, but I wouldn't be that strong. I'm not 91% confident here, if that makes any sense, which it doesn't, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. First off, you've heard me say it every week probably for the last 4 weeks. The Houston Texans defense can almost win the game by themselves. I mean, listen, I like what Sam Darnold and them are doing. I got it. But, man, this is a different animal coming to town here in Houston. You can't run on Houston. They put people at the line of scrimmage. They beg you to pass, and they can still play pass coverage, and they can make you look real silly. So that's where it's scary. The problem with the Houston is, I just don't know what to expect with their offense yet. I can't put anything into that bag there and go, ooh, I think they're ready to break out. I know it was good against the Baltimore Ravens, but as you know, I really love this Seahawks defense. Now, I don't know who's going to be back in the secondary for this football game and if they're going to be any more healthy because they've had no Julian Love, no Reek Woolen, no Devin Witherspoon. But I'm going to go with the Seahawks here, and I had a defensive struggle, 16-13, but that's right on the margin here. So I'm going to go 16-14, and I'm going to thread the needle. 16-14 right. Seahawks.
I got 27-20 Seahawks. That passing game is just so dynamic. Jackson Smith-Njigba is unstoppable. He and Puka Nacua have kind of taken the reins as the best receivers in the NFL right now by way of talent and production. Smith-Njigba has been incredible, and they desperately need to win at home. It's embarrassing that they can't win at home, and this is a primetime game. And look, the Texans, when they shut out the Titans, I was skeptical because the Titans were and still are a dumpster fire. And then I don't know how much stock to put in what they did to the Ravens because the Ravens are falling apart. This is the test. If the Texans really want to contend this year, and we did something yesterday about whether or not they're going to make the playoffs, and the odds makers have them not making the playoffs. This is the test. This is it. Got to win this one if they really are a contender. I think the Seahawks pull it off 27-20. All right, we break. And when we return, best bets and Folsom Prison, or if you prefer, Folsom County Blues pick of the week. That's next on Chris Sims Unbuttoned and PFTPM. Chris Sims Unbuttoned, PFTPM joint Mega Picks podcast, week 7, best bets time. Who do you have for your first selection?
Well, I'm going the Patriots. The 7 points just is not enough. I mean, the Titans are not good. Head coach turmoil. Mike Vrabel motivated. Yeah, I think it's the Patriots all the way in this one. I got the Patriots winning 31-14, so obviously easy covering that 7-point spread.
Dysfunctional teams do dysfunctional things. The worst possible time to fire Brian Callahan is 6 days before Mike Vrabel's coming back. And Mike Vrabel's coming back with the better team and bad intentions, and it is going to get ugly. Give me the Patriots as well.
All right. My next one, I'm going to go with the over in the Cowboys-Commanders game. I haven't done this all year. I'm going to do it. I think this is going to be a shootout. Have you seen these two defenses? No, neither have I. That's right. That's why I'm going to the offenses. Right. So I got it 38-34. The over-under is 54. I'm way above that. So I got to go with it.
Yeah, I did that back when the Cowboys played the Bears, and they were almost at the number at halftime.
I know,
and then the faucet turned off in the second half. So to use a technical term, that I'm not doing it again. All right, I'm going to go Packers giving 6.5 to the Cardinals. I just feel like the Cardinals, even though they've shown some fight, I feel like you get to a breaking point, and I feel like they're there, and I feel like the Packers are ready to find the gas pedal. Packers giving 6.5.
I feel you there. I feel like the Packers are ready for that gas pedal too, but I don't trust it yet. I got to see it one time here before I go on it. I'm going back to over-underville one more time.
Wow.
But yeah, I can't believe it either. But that one was over. Cowboys, Commanders. This one, I'm going to Underville. A little defensiveville here. I'm going to go to that Texans-Seattle game on Monday night. I think that'll be a defensive showdown. I think it will be tough sledding. I got it 16-14. That's 30 total points. The over-under is 41.5. I'm going to ride with it. I'm going to stick with my intuition here.
Well, the theme for the week for me when it comes to best bets is big spreads, not to be confused with Big Shield.
Oh, thank you.
Big spreads. So give me the Chiefs giving the Raiders 11.5. I feel this is an establisher game. The Raiders got their win for the month, and they just aren't good enough right now. And the Chiefs are establishing themselves, and they're going to have a lift from getting Rashee Rice back. So those are my three, all big favorites. That's what I'm doing. Chris is playing the over-under game twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Folsom Prison, Folsom County, the one game. If we were dying in a gutter and we had one game to pick this weekend that we would guarantee would hit, which one?
That's the Patriots over the Titans. That's the one I look at. I don't see there's any way that the Titans could beat the New England Patriots.
I was going to go Chiefs, but you never know in that, even though I made it a best bet.
Yeah, I was going to say.
For these purposes,
right.
Mike Vrabel is going to be so freaking salty, and it is going to be fun to watch, and I'll be stunned, beyond stunned, if the Titans, this would be the one game for the year that I would take the Patriots over the Titans. That's it. Enjoy the game.
See
you next time.
Yo, homies, it's time to watch some games. That's right. We're on to the NFL season here with Chris Sims Unbuttoned.
Hit subscribe to get our weekly picks, Sunday night recaps after every game, and much, much more.
Thanks for watching. Peace out, homies. Remember, subscribe. Peace out.